From the News and Current Affairs Department of Punch, FM and TV. This is Punch News Red, and let's take a quick look at the headlines. Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission responds to claims of delay in asset declaration by commissioner, says the statement is misleading and intended to distract the commission from its current effort in tackling corruption in Liberia. Liberia chapter of the Association of Satisfied Fraud Examiners convenes annual Inter-Fraud Examiners Conference with stakeholders to combat fraud and corruption through increased vigilance and innovation. Joint Civil Society Anti-Corruption Initiative present petition to the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission to investigate and prosecute officials of government sanctioned over corruption by the United States government. And away from home, 5 civilians have been killed in Ethiopia's Amhara region after a drone strike hit an ambulance, witnesses told the BBC. With these developments and other stories in the news this evening, I am Figo Mansari. Now we'll cross over to Gibson for the Bullet of News. Good evening, Gibson.
Good evening, Figo. Good evening, everyone. The Liberian Senate has established that commissioners of the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission are yet to declare and publish their assets as required by the act established by that body. During the August body Tuesday, December 5, 16, Masaraudu County Senator Darius Dillon raised the concerns and requested the Liberia Senate to establish reasons beyond the commissioners' refusal to adhere to the act, which is one of the requirements for confirmation. However, Bond County Senator Henrik Tokba, who chairs the Senate Committee on Autonomous Agency, confirmed that part of the document provided to his committee did not include asset declarations. The debate comes in the wake of the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission mandate to all outgoing officials, including President Weah and Vice President Joe Howard Taylor, to declare their assets by December 12 this year. The declaration, part of the Asset Declaration of Assets Notice, requires a comprehensive list encompassing properties, financials, holdings, investment, and other relevant financial interests. Meanwhile, the Board of Commissioners of the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission has responded to sections emanating from Senator Darius Dillon over delayed in asset declaration by commissioners of the LACC. The LACC, in a statement released Wednesday through its chairperson, Councillor Alexandra Zoe, termed the statement as misleading and only intended to distract the commission from its current efforts that are being made in the fight against corruption in Liberia. Councillor Zoe also indicated that there is nowhere in the July 22nd, 2022 Act creating the new LACC that requires the commissions to declare their assets during confirmation and thereafter publish their declaration. The LACC chairperson added that the Code of Conduct of 2014 provides for asset declaration only by public officials and employees of government, and during confirmation that now commissioners were not public officials, neither were they employees of government. Thereafter, no law required them to declare their assets and or publish their declaration, not the LACC Act of 2022 and not the Code of Conduct of 2014. Furthermore, Councillor Zoe stated that, as was requested by a few of the senators during the confirmation, in keeping with Section 6.12 of the new LACC Act, a person nominated to serve on the commission who is an active member of any political party shall publicly resign before confirmation by the Liberian Senate. And if appointed by the President of Liberia, he or she shall, during the confirmation process, declare his or her assets and any property of interest with declaration. which declaration, unless found to be questionable, shall not prejudice his or her nomination. She also informed the public that at no time any of his commission has been an active member of any political party, which Section 6.12 could be applicable. At the same time, the LCC chairperson disclosed that all commissions during their confirmation hearing in July 2023, when the issue of their access declaration was raised by Senator Darius Dillon, and the hearing was halted in display of fairness in all and to demonstrate integrity and transparency. They proceeded to the LCC and declared their respective access, integrity, and transparency with Madam Patricia Banaba, the Asset Declaration and Verification Officer of the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission. The commission chairperson subsequently obtained the respective official receipt from the LCC and filed cell receipt with the office of the Secretary of Senator Herring Tokba, the chairman of the Committee on Autonomous Agency and Commission, which later gave grounds for the confirmation hearing to continue, and the commission were eventually confirmed. Additionally, Councillor Alexandra Zoe informed the public that pre-selection of candidates before nomination and subsequent confirmation by the Liberian Senate, which comprises representatives of the General Auditing Commission, Governance Commission, Liberia National Bar Association, Press Union of Liberia, Liberia Business Association, Anti-Corruption Advocate of Civil Society Organization, Liberia Institute of Certified Public Accountants, and the International Donor Community took into consideration all of the issues of integrity, competence, compliance, and accountability. She stated that commissioners are cognizant of individuals who do not want them to be at the LCC and therefore will go to any length to stop the commissioners from performing their duties for which they were legally appointed to do simply because corruption fights back. The House of Representatives has rectified an integrated fisheries sector scrutiny project financing agreement between OPEC Fund for International Development and the Liberian government, signed on October 26, 2023. A release issued by the Press Bureau says plenary took the decision Tuesday, December 5, 2023, during its 10th day sitting of the third quarter of the sixth section following a report from its Joint Committee on Investment and Agriculture. The committee had several hearings and found out that this agreement is in the interest of the country as it intends to contribute to the country's security and poverty alleviation by improving fisheries management and productivity and construct fisheries competent laboratory for post-harvest. It added that under the project signed, the OPEC fund has approved 20 million United States dollars for and $240,000 in loan and grant, respectively. The Joint Committee report added that the agreement between the recipient and the OPEC fund sets forth the components to be financed out of the proceeds of the financing, among others. Meanwhile, the instrument is pending submission to the Liberian Senate for concurrence. The civil society and community-based organizations in Liberia under the banner Joint Civil Society Anti-Corruption Initiative has presented a petition to the Liberian Anti-Corruption Commission to investigate and prosecute officials of government sanctioned for corruption by the United States government. Presenting the petition Wednesday at the headquarters of the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission in Senka, Alfreda Joe disclosed that the petition draws attention to the government's effort in establishing anti-graft institutions in acting laws to combat corruption. Ms. Joe, however, noted that despite measures and Liberia's commitment to international anti-corruption frameworks, the fight against corruption remains hindered by factors such as insufficient budgetary support, weak enforcement policy, and limited political will. Alfredas Joe, on behalf of the group, also highlighted the pervasive issue of corruption in Liberia and called on the LACC to request information from the United States government regarding corruption allegation against sanctioned officials namely Senator Vanin Sherma, Nathaniel McGill, Councillor Serena Cephas, Senator Prince Johnson, and former National Port Authority Managing Director Bill Twawe. She at the same time called on the LSCC to initiate a thorough and impartial investigation into corruption allegations and prosecute implicated officials in line with the Commission's mandate. In response, LSCC chairperson Councillor Alexandra Zoe lauded the Joint Civil Society Anti-Corruption Initiative for the petition and assured the petitioners that beginning 2024, the institution will undertake a comprehensive investigation with subsequent prosecutions where necessary. The Liberia chapter of the Association of Certified Fraud Examiners has kicked off a 3-day annual anti-fraud examiners conference with stakeholders at the L. Johnson Sirleaf Ministerial Complex in Concord Town under the theme Combating Fraud and Corruption Through Increased Vigilance and Innovation. The Director of Training of the Liberia chapter of the Association of Certified Fraud Examiners, Jao Cooper, who served as proxy for the institution's president, Anthony Augustine Chinowe, said their mission is to reduce the incidence of fraud and white-collar crimes and to insist the membership in fraud detection and deterrence. He acknowledged that revenue generation from international companies is experiencing significant reduction as a result of fraud. Cooper stressed the need to stand firm in combating fraud as a reputable organization. Also speaking at the event, the Deputy Director for Administration of the Internal Auditing Agency of Liberia, Mohamed Kole, called on anti-fraud examiners to maintain professionalism in their workings. He indicated that upholding professionalism should be demonstrated at every level of their workings, including academic upgrading, research, and building network of professional friendship, among others. The Ministry of Health Social Mobilization Officer in Grand Kitmount County, Vani Masakoi, is calling on citizens in Pokpa and Gola Konen districts to take advantage of the distributions of medication being provided by health practitioners to prevent the spread in rural communities. According to Masakoi, the Ministry of Health, in collaboration with the county health team, through the government of Liberia, has provided medication to prevent individuals from contracting the sickness. He made a statement recently in Bambala Town, Pokpak District, during a one-day stakeholders meeting with community leaders on the usage of the medication in the community. For his part, the district health officer assigned in Pokpak District, Kafila Woloman, lauded the district leadership for participating in the awareness exercise. River blindness, also known as Ochichiasis, is a parasitic disease transmitted by black fly, which breed near fast-flowing streams and rivers, mostly near remote rural villages. The infection can result in visual impairment and sometimes blindness. And the administrator and principal of the Hillwood Mission Institute, Bishop Dr. Leo Simpson, has called for concerted efforts in tackling these issues confronting the education sector of Liberia. Speaking Wednesday on our sister program, the Punch Morning Conversation, the renowned Liberian educator outlined the many challenges facing the education sector and stressed the need for more pragmatic actions aimed at enhancing the sector and expressed dismay over many of the decisions made in the education sector under the CDC-led administration. Dr. Leo Sampson described uh, as political the decision to pay WATS fees and declare public universities tuition free without due diligence to the education sector. The Hillwood Mission Administrator, however, expressed optimism that the Unity Party administration will change the course of happenings in the education sector for good in Liberia. Back to you, Fico.
Well, many thanks to Gibson Jill for the news bulletin. News bulletin is a regular feature on News Red on Punch, FM, and TV. And these are stories you are closely following. Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission respond to claims of delay in asset declaration by commissioners, says the statement is misleading and intended to distract the commission from its current effort in tackling corruption in Liberia. Liberia chapter of the Association of Satisfied Fraud Examiners convenes an inter-fraud examiners conference with stakeholders to combat fraud and corruption through increased vigilance and innovation. Joint Civil Society Anti-Corruption Initiative presents petition to the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission to investigate and prosecute officials of government sanctioned over corruption by the United States government. And away from home, 5 civilians have been killed in Ethiopia's Amhara region after a drone strike hit and ambulance. Witnesses told the BBC. We'll take a short break to right back with the actual voices of the newsmaker. Welcome back. The Board of Commissioners of the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission has responded to assertions emanating from Senator Darius Dillon over delay in asset declaration by commissioners of the LACC. The LACC, in a statement released Wednesday through its chairperson, Councillor Alexandra Zoe, termed the statement as misleading and only intended to distract the commission from its current efforts that have been made in the fight against corruption in Liberia. Councillor Zoe also indicated that there is nowhere in the July 22 Act creating the new LACC that requires the commission to declare their assets during confirmation and thereafter publish said declaration. We sincerely apologize as we have a technical problem here, but we'll come back to the story. The Board of Commissioners of the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission has responded to assertions emanating from Senator Darius Dillon over delay in asset declaration by commissioners of the LACC. The LACC, in a statement released Wednesday through its chairperson, Councillor Alexandra Zoe, termed the statement as misleading and only intended to distract the commission from its current efforts that have been made in the fight against corruption in Liberia. Councillor Zoe also indicated that there is nowhere in the July 22 Act creating the new LACC that requires the commissioners to declare their assets during confirmation and thereafter publish said declaration.
The Honorable Senate, in its 55th day sitting, carried on its agenda an item titled Asset Declaration of the Commissioners of the LACC, which was raised by Senator Abraham Darius DeLong. During his deliberations, Senator DeLong informed the Honorable Senate that the current board of commissioners at the LACC, including the executive chairperson, have not demonstrated that they have declared their assets and that they have not published their assets declaration in keeping with the July 22nd, 2022 Act creating the new LACC. Additionally, Senator DeLong stated that the commissioners during confirmation hearing only presented a slip to the Senate committee that was shared with the senator. The Board of Commissioners of the LACC notes with grave concern such statement emanating from Senator DeLong, as it is misleading to the public and only intended to distract the LACC from current efforts that are being made in a fight against corruption in Liberia. In view of the above, the Board of Commissioners of the LACC issues this statement to the public in response to Senator DeLong's assertions. One, that there is no way in the July 2022 Act that requires the commissioners during confirmation to declare their asset and thereafter publish such declaration. Now, this is simply because our Code of Conduct of 2024 provides for asset declaration only by public officials and employees of government. Again, the commissioners of the LACC wishes to inform the public that at no time any of its commissioners sitting on this board of commissioners has been an active member of any political party for which Section 6.12 could be applicable.
At the same time, the LACC chairperson added that the Code of Conduct of 2014 provides for asset declaration only by public officials and employees of government, and that during confirmation, the now commissioners were not public officials, neither were the employees of government. Therefore, no law required them to declare their asset or publish said declaration, and not the LACC Act of 2022 and not the Code of Conduct of 2014. She stated that as she was requested by a few of the senators during the confirmation in keeping with Section 6.12 of the new LACC Act, a person nominated to serve on the commission who is an active member of any political party, she had publicly resigned before confirmation by the Liberian Senate.
Our nation has just concluded a peaceful election, and there is a transition process ongoing. We must now use this time to preach peace, reconciliation, and development. We therefore call on all Liberians to support the new Board of Commissioners of the LACC as we execute our mandate in this fight against corruption in the cause of Liberia. We look forward to working with the Senate to provide proof of our asset declaration once and for all. Meanwhile, we would like to remind outgoing public officials and employees of government that our deadline for asset declaration still stands at December 12, 2023. And we encourage every public official and employee of government, including the Senate, to proceed to the LACC and declare their asset.
Councillor Alexandra Zoe, chairperson of the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission. The Liberia chapter of the Association of Satisfied Fraud Examiners has kicked off a 3-day annual Inter-Fraud Examiners Conference with stakeholders at the Ellen Johnson Saliba Ministerial Complex in Congo Town under the theme Combating Fraud and Corruption Through Increased Vigilance and Innovation. The Director of Training of the Liberia chapter of the Association Satisfied Fraud Examiners, Jao Kopa, who served as proxy for the institution president Anthony Augustine Chenoweth, said their mission is to reduce the incidence of fraud and white-collar crimes and to assist the membership in fraud detection and deterrence.
At 5%, the revenue of international companies have gone down because of fraud. Most of this fraud, about 87%, comes from asset misappropriation, and financial statements is about 9%. But the median loss of financial statement fraud is 0.5 million, while the median loss of asset misappropriation is somewhere around 100,000. And basically, from a the upholding professionalism is not an event. It's not a one-time do or a one-day activity. As long as we've ascribed ourselves to professionalism.
We sincerely apologize for that wrong click. Also speaking at the event, the Deputy Director for Administration of the Internal Audit Agency of Liberia, Mohammed Kole, called on anti-fraud examiners to maintain professionalism in their workings. He indicated that upholding professionalism should be demonstrated at every level of their workings, including academic upgrading, research, and building network of professional friendship among others.
Event. It's not a one-time do or a one-day activity. As long as we've ascribed ourselves to professionalism, we require to uphold and sustain it for the rest of our life. Sustaining something for the rest of your life, you will agree with me, is a daunting task.
The civil society and community-based organization Liberia, under the banner Joint Civil Society Anti-Corruption Initiative, has presented a petition to the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission to investigate and prosecute officials the government sanctioned for corruption by the United States government. Presented the petition Wednesday at the headquarters of the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission in Sinko, Alfreda Joe disclosed that the petition draws attention to the government effort in establishing anti-graft institutions and enacting laws to combat corruption. Ms. Joe, however, noted that despite measures and Liberia's commitment to international anti-corruption frameworks, the fight against corruption remains hindered by factors such as insufficient budgetary support, weak enforcement policy, and limited political will.
By several factors, including but not limited to low budgetary and logistical support, the public integrity institution, weak enforcement of anti-corruption laws and policies, the absence and limitation of key laws and institutions for dealing with corruption in Liberia, and limited political will to decisively act against public officials and other individuals at the center of allegations of corruption that undermine Liberia's democracy and citizen interests. Following years of inaction by the Liberian government, by the country decline on the Corruption Perception Index, the CPI of Transparency International, from there of 29/100 in 2021 to 26/100 in 2022. It is a high time that those credibly accused of corruption, including those sanctioned by the United States government for significant public sector corruption, are investigated and prosecuted. And
well, at this time, we cross over to Gibson to bring us our foreign development.
5 civilians have been killed in Ethiopia's Amhara region after a drone strike hit an ambulance, witnesses told the BBC. 3 other people, including the head of a local hospital, were injured in the accident that happened in Wongel Tinan town in northeastern Amhara. The attack occurred last week, but was only confirmed on Wednesday due to the communications restrictions imposed by the local authorities. The driver of the ambulance, a pharmacist, and the nearby construction workers were among those killed. Witnesses have asserted the federal forces are said to be using drones to tackle local militias as the violence that broke out in April continues to escalate. Last month, the UN said it was troubled by drone strikes hitting civilian targets in Amhara. It said several people were killed in an attack on a school compound and a bus station.
Well, at this time, before going home, here are the recap of our stories. Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission respond to claims of delay in asset declaration by commissioners, says the statement is misleading and intended to distract the commission from its current effort in tackling corruption in Liberia. Liberia chapter of the Association of Satisfied Fraud Examiners convenes Anti-Corruption Fraud Examiners Conference with stakeholders to combat fraud and corruption through increased vigilance and innovation. Joint Civil Society Anti-Corruption Initiative presents petition to the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission to investigate and prosecute officials of government sanctioned over corruption by the United States government. And 5 civilians have been killed in Ethiopia's Amhara region after a drone strike hit an ambulance, witnesses told the BBC. On behalf of the entire news team at a Punch FM and TV, my name is Figo Mansari. Good evening.